What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Geoffrey Sambersky again. Today I'm showing you another custom that I made, and this was meant to be a custom for Halloween, but I pushed it off because I didn't have enough resource to, make this custom like epoxy at the time. So, since I got more epoxy, I can now present what I made, and it is the Candy Mare, formerly known as Pumpkin Patch, who is the main antagonist of the Sun Sweet to Bite creepypasta, and she's a undead monster because as the story described her as a large feminine pony composed of various candy related items and sweetened treats, like her noble features being a red licorice mane, blue and pink swirling eyes, and waffle coned ears and candy corn teeth. It shows that she's part candy, part pony amalgamation. And she's actually really frightening. But she has a really interesting backstory of like before the Candy Mare incident, like when she was still a pony, like the pre Candy Mare times, like years ago when she was just a filly named Pumpkin Patch. Like she saw a candy maker, like she met a candy maker with, and her parents also took her there too. So yeah, they went to the sweet shop, and the owner, Lemon Drop, who was a unicorn, took over that shop, and the original owner, which was his grandma, had passed on. That's when things started changing. Like, for example, like after the mysterious disappearance of Pumpkin's parents, Lemon Drop used the, to be cannibalistic ideas, like, let's say, with the experiments involving the candy, as he wanted, Pumpkin Patch to be the taste tester for his candy, and having, her as the experimental pony, for example, for perfecting the candies. But then at one point, this happens like to start a Nightmare Night, through a combination of willpower and the preservation spells and alchemy infused into the candy by Lemon's attempts at creating longer lasting treats and confections, Pumpkin Patch did not die being malnourished or anything like that, but instead she like mutated somehow due to this alchemy into that nightmarish part pony, part candy amalgamation, and pretty much kills off Lemon Drop. And then she goes on, her attack. But she was sealed away, like, setting her into a deep sleep and purifying any sweets to be left, to be certain that Alkane was safe by the, hunting royal orders of Celestia and Luna. So, but her resurrection from the dead and transformation years later would happen, for example, where, she was brought back. So then all of a sudden things got really bad as, let's say, certain candies were cursed. And if they were brought, it would bring her back. And apparently it did. And she pretty much caused a lot of chaos and carnage in Equestria in the story. And there's another problem. If you cannot destroy her, because, if you destroy her and try to eat parts of her, it'll just turn you into a candy ghoul zombie, which means that's insane. Now I guess that's the reason why I left some of my Halloween candy in the middle of the woods as a peace offering, because I didn't want the Candy Mare's soul to go after me. Anyways, enough rambling about that. Let's get on to the toy. The base I used for the Candy Mare was this spare. I said spare. Giant deluxe brushable Sunny Star Scout, because I felt like having her as a giant custom would be pretty cool. So after snipping off the mane and the tail, like the synthetic mane and tail, I filled in the top with epoxy and everything else with epoxy. Like, for example, the separation between the pink fur part of her head as well as the skull part of her head. And I sculpted on the teeth and the tongues. The teeth and the tongues, yeah, with epoxy, as well as the separations for all the layers that she's made of all these confectionery treats. Then after that, it was time for painting. And painting her was really simple, obviously. Like, I helped, look at a reference, just in case if I wanted to make it look close as possible to the actual thing. But I still had to make it simplistic because I wanted to keep it like a simplistic but semi-realistic look, like as what you're seeing right here. This is her all painted up without the, without the mane and tail. That's, yarn. So you could tell, like, from the sides, like, she looks pretty good. I decided to have her back leg, like the one that you see under the candy cane part, be like a darkish red. Well, mix a darkish red with a little purple on it to make it look interesting. Because the concept art has it like that. Because everyone's got a different look of design for the Candy Mare. And I want to use my own design style of her, so that way she could look, unique. Now, even though she's complete in this picture, I wanted to tell you about one thing that I use for the mane and the tail. That is yarn. What are you seeing on her head and tail piece is yarn, which is two colors, just red and black, to represent the licorice patterns in her mane and tail, which is red and black licorice. And overall, she turned out really great, and at the same time, actually pretty damn scary. So now that she's complete, we could get to the live action footage of me talking about her some more. And here is the Candy Mare all completed in her horrific, scary glory. I had a lot of fun making her. She uses a Sunny Star Scout giant brushable as a base. Like, set in the images. I took off the original hair and then sculpted over with epoxy, hence why this little part is the bald part. And basically, I sculpted all this part, like the parts like represent the seam lines of the neck, the extra mouth, the teeth, the tongues. This part of her leg to represent the separation between this part and this part. Same with this and that, as well as these. This is also sculpted in here too, to represent like the ice cream or frosting, whatever, like cake or something like that. I don't know. She's painted with Vallejo paint and varnished with gloss varnish. Thankfully, I bought a new bottle because I was running out of varnish, so I got another bottle just in case. The mane is probably like my best achievement out of all this. It's made of yarn, red and black yarn. I might give the tail a little bit of a snip, a small snip, but not too serious of a snip. But if you wonder how she scales, I'll scale her to your average pony, and as you can see, she towers over a pony like me, or like, let's say, JD, she even towers over him, and I'm dead serious, she'll even tower over Springtrap over there, and basically, she's, my biggest custom that I've ever made, the biggest one. I think she sets a new record of how tall my customs can be, with her being the tallest from head to her hooves. And this thing was fun, but it was also really scary, at the same time, because the Candy Mare, as you could tell from her story, she is pretty damn scary. I'll snip this to make it look like a separate hair strand, so. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this custom of the Candy Mare, and I'll see you next time. This is Geoffrey Samberski signing out.